The starter relay operates when the key is turned in the ignition. The movement of the armatures close the pair of heavy contacts to serve as a bridge between the battery to the starter. Hello, my name is Steven. I'm going to explain to you the starting system block diagram I've drawn up here for a 2009 Harley Sportster. We're going to start at the battery. It's your black wire that runs from your battery to your starter. You have two wires coming from your starter. The green wire that runs down to your starter relay here. Then you have your red wire that runs down, goes over to your main fuse. From your main 30 amp main fuse, you have your red wire that comes out, tees off. One goes to your ignition switch, the other runs down to a 15 amp battery fuse in your starter relay. You have your red wire, or black and red wire, that runs out of your ignition switch, runs over to your 15 amp ignition fuse in your starter relay, which also runs down to the bottom of your starter relay. You have your gray wire that runs out of your 15 amp ignition fuse, runs over and tees off, runs into your turn signal security module at pin number 2. It also runs up to a connector for your engine stop and run switch and your starter switch, which is in series, which goes up to your engine stop and run, comes out of your engine stop and run, runs to your starter switch, and comes out, runs down to your black and red wire, all the way back to your starter relay. You have your brown and gray wire that runs out of the 15 amp battery fuse, then runs over into your battery pin on your turn signal security module. You have your tan and green wire that runs out of your starter relay and goes to your turn signal security module, which is your starter relay control. And then your starter or your turn signal security module is grounded out by pin 12. Today I'm going to show you step by step how to test the components of this starting system. First, you have to check the battery voltage at the battery while it's in an unloaded state. So we're going to grab our multimeter, turn to volts, DC, grab a red probe, put it on your positive terminal, grab your black probe, and put it on your negative terminal. And we got a reading of 13.2 volts. Next, we are going to check the present voltage at the starter relay to ensure that the ignition switch is working. First, we're going to remove your starter relay. Alright. You gotta turn your multimeter to volts DC. You gotta turn your key switch on. You're gonna grab your red probe and put it into the connector where your black and red wire runs into. And then you're going to take your black probe and you're going to run it to the ground on the battery, which we get 12.51 volts. Next, we're going to test the starter relay itself. We're going to remove it from the bike like I have done. You're going to get you an external power source such as a battery pack like I have here. Get you some alligator clamps. You got to put one alligator clamp on pin number 1, another alligator clamp on pin number 2, right here. And now you're going to check for resistance in this relay while you're putting power to it. And you should hear it click, which we do. And we're going to test the resistance, and we get 0, which is good. Next, we are going to check the neutral safety switch. Our service manual tells us that the tan wire running from the switch to the speedometer cluster. We have traced it up and found the plug, which is connected under the gas tank. We've removed it. due to it being a hard place to test, we have a little teeth needle in here to keep from breaking off your meter probe inside your plug. So we are going to set our meter to ohms. We're going to turn our key on, which it is on. Set your positive to the 10 wire and your negative to the negative terminal. You should get a reading, which we do. Now we're going to put it in gear and test it again, and we should get OL, which we do. Now we're going to test the engine stop run switch and starter button, which is in series. Service manual says we need to find the gray wire and the white black wire that runs from your switches up here, and it runs down under the gas tank, which is right here. We are going to remove this plug. Make sure your key is off. Turn your meter to ohms. Alright, we're going to use alligator clamps to assist us on getting a good reading when we test this, make it easier. So, put the switch in the off position. We're going to put your red probe, one wire, black probe, the other wire. And we should get OL, which we do. Now we're going to turn the switch to run, and we should get some kind of resistance, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, somewhere around there. Now we're going to push your starter button, which we should get a little bit of resistance there too, which we got 0.1.